What is going on, everyone watching, wherever you may be watching? Episode 8 of Locker Talk Live Monday show, June 14th, 2021. I'm Wac, that's Scotty T. As always, another beautiful Monday. Scotty, looking like you're somewhere other than Houston with that glorious background behind us. Where are you at today, Scotty?
You know, I don't want to humble brag. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. I don't want to humble brag, but I'm in the beautiful mountains of Colorado. No big deal. Everybody see that? Looks awesome. We are, I had to escape the Houston heat and made it up to Colorado. It's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I'm not going to tell you what the temperature is because you might get a little jealous, and that's okay. It's okay to be jealous sometimes. But we got a lot going on here, man. Even though I'm up in Colorado, Vype, we are still humming along, churning out content. If you follow us on social media right now, go to Vype Houston. We have the Vype volleyball photo shoot that is happening right now. Right now. So shout out to Josh.
Yeah, going on right now. Volleyball shoot happening, if I'm not mistaken, next 2 days, if I'm not mistaken, today and Tuesday. So if you're following along on social media on the Vype Houston page, you'll be seeing them talk about that. But, of course, we have to start with the most important news of the day. Texas Longhorns moving on to the College World Series. Hook 'em horns. That's right, baby. That is right. Getting over South Florida to move on. And, heck, first, Arkansas, number 1 overall seed, getting upset by NC State. So, if this is a year that UT could potentially do it, this might be the year. Scotty, I know you didn't want to hear that, but
I'm sure. Hold on. I just want to make everybody jealous of the view. I'm going to run inside. Hopefully, this isn't too much of a chaos.
I'll put the camera on me while you do that. But yeah,
look at that view, though.
Oh, let me switch back here. Look at that. That is just a gorgeous view. Definitely jealous. Yes, I got my Funkos and my Zelda behind me, but definitely doesn't beat the mountains of Colorado there. UT got through. I know who else has gotten through. NC State's gotten through. Tennessee's gotten through. I think Mississippi has gotten through. A couple others playing today to finish it up. UT back in it for the 37th time, just adding to their record of most College World Series appearances. Hopefully they'll get their first championship since 2005, but we'll see.
So this is going to sound really petty of me, but I'm kind of glad that Arkansas lost because Arkansas beat Baylor in the 2012 NCAA Super Regional, and I was there at that game, Game 3. I could not stand Woo Pig Sooie, so 9 years later, I guess Baylor gets a little justice. But, yeah, feel for them. College baseball, I saw one tweet, though. Might be the most undercovered sport out there, along with softball. And I totally agree. Those teams are awesome. It is electric. Shout out to Oklahoma for winning the NCAA Women's Softball Championship last week.
No shout outs to Oklahoma ever. That's the rule on this show.
Boomer.
But I will say that was a travesty that they put that game at the 2 p.m. time slot on Friday. I think it was the game day was Friday. Or Thursday. I can't remember which day. It was one or the other, but I think it was Thursday actually. But travesty to put it at the 2 p.m. time slot. Give that game the 7 p.m. marquee. You got plenty of channels on ESPN. No reason that game shouldn't have been a 7 p.m. game.
Couldn't agree more. And also shout out to Jada Coleman, who became a superstar in the College World Series. She is from the Dallas area, went to the Colony High School. We actually saw her at the photo shoot a couple years ago, consensus number 1 recruit coming out of high school, and it showed. She showed up. So you won't say congrats, but, man, I agree with you. They should have gotten prime time because them in Florida State was electric.
Yeah, and just a great World Series overall in the sport of softball. So, but yes, congrats to Oklahoma. Begrudgingly, I say that. Congrats to Oklahoma. But that's unless you got anything else you want to talk about, we should jump into UIL baseball. You got anything else you want to add before we move on to the UIL baseball championships? All right, well then let's jump right into it. Let's go.
I'm trying to tweet out the link, and the internet's a little slow here in Colorado. No big deal. I'm in Colorado. I don't know if you know that, but so that's why I was on mute. Yes, let's talk some UIL baseball. You were on the ground there, right, Josh?
Yeah, I wasn't there for all the games. I was there to cover the 5A, 6A games, and so that's where I was there. But I will say, very competitive from 1A all the way to 6A. The biggest margin of victory from all of 6 games was only 5 runs. Other than that, there was a 2-run win, and then 4 1-run wins, and we'll talk about 3 of them that I got to be there for, and break those down a little more in detail. But overall, very competitive final games for the UIL state championships, and kind of a great way to close the season with UIL and COVID and everything going on. Just a really, really great job by UIL this past year and getting all these sports in, and doing it in a very, very good way. Keeping everyone safe as they could. So shout out to UIL for that. So let's jump into it. Go for it, Scotty. I'm sorry.
It's been a wild year, man. It's been a wild year with sports. I mean, think about it. This time last year, we didn't know if sports were going to happen. Football and volleyball season both got pushed back, but the spring sports got back on schedule. And I was so right now, as we mentioned, we got the volleyball photo shoot going on. I kind of touched on it earlier, but over the weekend, officially the 2020-2021 season ends for UIL. And then we're gearing up on Monday, getting ready for the 21-22 season. Grind don't stop here at Vype. But yes, we need to I think we're going to look back and reflect on this last year and be grateful. And thank you to the UIL, to TAPS, to SBC for making it happen for all the athletes out there.
100% agree. And I think in a future show, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll figure out when. We definitely need to come out with our final softball and baseball rankings of the year for Austin and San Antonio. Heck, maybe let's throw in Dallas and Houston while we're at it. I don't know. Let's get crazy, Scott. But before we get crazy, let's go ahead and break down what happened this past week, or this past weekend, I should say, for baseball. We'll start off with 1A. We'll just run through these kind of very briefly, if you will. We have I got Fayetteville beating Kennard 6-4. All these photos are provided by UIL Texas. Got them off their Twitter page, so thank you to them. 1A champions right there. 2A, and that was the 2-run game. Here's the 5-run game, 7-2. New Deal over Garrison, your 2A champions. Over in the 3A, this game, and all the rest of these are only run games, Scott. This 3A game was wild. This is one I was there for, so I'll talk about it a little bit. 8-7, the final score. Corpus Christi London went into this into the last inning, or the bottom of the last inning. It was either 7-4 or 7-3. They were winning in the bottom of the 7th, and then Malakoff scores just basically 5 runs, mostly through walks. They walked a lot of batters, and then it was 7-6, and then Malakoff, one of their batter, gets hit by a pitch. So before that, they bring in a new pitcher. He hits the batter, brings it in to tie the game. So they switch pitchers again, and then that pitcher hits the batter. So they win on a walk-off hit by pitch. So devastating. It was so devastating for London. So exhilarating for Malakoff, but so devastating for London to lose in that fashion, Scotty. Let me tell you, that's one I haven't seen a baseball game. Well, at least for a championship anyways, just get ended by a hit by pitch like that.
That'll be like losing the ALCS on a hit by pitch.
Yeah, and
or maybe the World Series, last game of the year.
You'll see regular games every now and then end by a walk or a hit by pitch or whatever, but I don't recall a championship game being decided that way, and that's just heartbreaking for those kids. I did hear, and I haven't really sussed this out and looked into the validity of it, but I heard a lot of the London kids are freshmen, so look out for them to potentially make a run in the next few years to get back and hopefully avenge this loss.
Absolutely, no, that's great, man. Back-to-back hit batters. That's kind of stuff that keeps you up at night. What do you say? The thrills of victory and the agony of defeat. Like, that is it. The dichotomy is it couldn't be more stark between those two teams on what happened.
And it's always from early on all the way to the pros. That's always the stuff you deal with about, okay, do I stick with the pitcher I have? Do I switch him out? You never really know what's going to happen. You think you might have your pitcher in the bullpen ready to go, and he just has an off night. I mean, you kind of look at that. We talked about review, but the Texas game yesterday, South Florida went through like 7 pitchers, right? And it's just because whatever reason, their starter he only lasted 1 1/3 innings, and before he got before he had to be replaced. So it's stuff like that, and you always have to second guess: do I leave them in? Do I take them out? You see this you've seen this recently too in the MLB, and especially in the playoffs, where you'll see the coach only maybe have their one of their relievers in for one out or whatever, and then after they take him out, and then they bring the next guy. And the next guy gives up 3 or 4 runs. So it's one of those things that I've noticed too recently in the pros.
One thing that I don't think about that often, but I do think about, was the 2019 World Series Houston Astros against the Washington Nationals. Game 7 at home, A.J. Hinch takes out Zach Greinke. When Zach Greinke was dealing that game, I think, if I'm not mistaken, he had pitched like 6 1/3 inning, but he had just given up a walk, maybe another hit, and Hinch pulls him. Astros end up losing the World Series. A lot of people say that he should have left Greinke in to work it. To your point, and that's at literally the highest stage, at the highest level. So I'm glad I'm not a manager sometimes. Let's put it that way.
Moving on to the 4A, like I said, another one-run game. I didn't get to see this one, but Pleasant Grove beats Rusk 2-1. Very close game there, as you can see. Just looking here at the screen, Rusk definitely had some defense. I mean, they gave up 7 hits, but only allowed 2 runs. So it tells you what a defensive effort this game was. But Pleasant Grove gets the W in this one. Moving on to 5A, I was here for this one. 2-1, Barbos Hill beats Hallsville. This was a super close game. I'm going to say Thomas. And the reason I'm going to say Thomas, because I actually saw Thomas, our former coworker, there, because he covers Hallsville as part of his area now that he works. And so, yes, got very, very close game. Yes.
Real quick, I need to eat some crow, because I thought the Barbos Hill was going to lose to Amarillo. And Amarillo was up for a lot of that game. But Barbos Hill won. They ended up winning state. So I'm eating my crow right now. Let's talk Eagles fly to win the state championship.
Let's talk about that Barbos Hill versus Amarillo game. The first inning of that game went 1 hour. 1 whole hour for just one inning. Because Amarillo scored 4 runs in the top of the first. Barbos Hill scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first. That first inning was just brutal as far as just trying to get it over with. And then, it kind of went back and forth, but then Amarillo kind of built the lead, and then in the bottom of the 6th, Barbos Hill just exploded for 6 runs and then never looked back. In this game, I think it was like maybe each scored 1 in the first or 1 in the second. Each scored 1 very early on, and then it was just a defensive game going all the way to the end of the game. And then and I don't know if you've watched the videos that we posted on our YouTube page about this recap. Basically what happened was bottom of the 6th, there was runners on runners on 2nd and 3rd, I believe it was. Yes, 2nd and 3rd. There were runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. You see your TV turn on there by random, huh?
Yeah.
The batter hits a sac fly basically, so hits it to the outfield. He hits it to the outfield, and then what happens was the outfielder catches it, runner at 3rd tags up and scores, and then the runner on 2nd, he advances to 3rd, and then after they threw it to 3rd, he was safe, but then afterwards they throw it to 2nd and call him out because he didn't tag up. He left too early. He left before the catch. And so then the refs got together and said, well, no, that run doesn't count. Then they got together again and said, you know what, the run does count because the run happened before the 3rd out. Hallsville obviously not very happy about that, but it was the right call because it was only the 2nd out that happened before. That means the run that happened from 3rd did count before that 3rd out. So it was the right call, but definitely took kind of the air out of kind of Hallsville, I feel like, and then Barbos Hill got 3 outs in the top of the 7th, and that was it for them.
Yeah, I think, like you said, it's the 7th inning, man. Like, if it's a defensive battle, and then something like that happens, and then it's almost like, you remember in 2001 Miami or 2002 Miami when they were playing Ohio State, and they thought they had won. They're celebrating, and then it's like, oh, wait, we got to continue playing more football. In this regard, it's like, oh, don't worry, we're still tied. Oh, wait, now we're down? Like, it's so hard to recover from that. And I mean, not to say that Hallsville isn't mentally strong or anything like that. It's just it's tough, especially when there's half an inning left. You know, it's not like you have half a game to recover from still. So definitely some controversy. Controversy is always a good thing, I think, because it brings eyeballs, and controversy is always fun. But you don't want it to take away from the game itself. And it sounds like it kind of took away from the game a little bit. But worked out in favor of Barbers Hill. And as you said, ultimately, as long as the right call is made at the end of the day, then the umpires and everybody else can sleep at night.
Yeah, and I actually, let me find it here. I actually have the play coming up.
It's up on a YouTube page, I think, through H-Town High School Sports with top 3.
That's right. So here it is.
1 out. Josh Campbell flies to center.
So
Jace Martinez will tag, and he will score the go-ahead run.
Right there counts.
Then, after an appeal, the runner going from second to third, Kyle Isaacs called out for leaving the bag early on the tag. Lots of discussion, even heated discussion, but the run does count, and it's 2-1. Barbers Hill after 6. Top 7, 2 outs. Eagles 1 out away. Malone gets the pop up to third. Braden Jacobs makes the catch, and that is it.
So yeah, so that was
also, you never really see a dog pile near the shortstop and third baseline. So that's interesting.
Right. Yeah. So, so that was the play in question. I do believe the Hallsville coach got tossed. Understandably, he was a little upset, so you can't really blame him there. But yeah, that was a wild game. And then in our
Turbo.
What was that?
Hey, Turbo, 5A ending did outdo the 3A inning. Check the comments section, right, Wac? How about that?
What's he saying there?
He said 5A inning somehow outdid the 3A. What a wild day.
Yeah,
dude, couldn't agree more.
Yeah, so Turbo, Will Turboff, our Vype ambassador, he was at these games helping cover them as well. So shout out to him on just doing a great job. He ended up he called these 6A, one of the 6A semis because Straight Jesuit was in it. They came up just short against who was it? Keller. Yeah, Keller. And so came up just short, but he did a great job on that call as well. But yeah, we thought because me and him we actually watched the end of that 3A game together. We're like, wow, what a way to end it. And then 5A was like, hold on, we got something for you. Final game of the tournament was Keller and Rockwall, and Rockwall wins this one 4-3. This one just another back and forth game, very close all the way, and then Rockwall is able to get a run, I think in the 6th inning, if I'm not mistaken, to kind of seal it on that one. So again, just another all these games, like I said, even 1A through 6A, all super close. I remember in 2019, there was a 17-0 win. So it really shows you how competitive these games were compared to in years past.
Yeah, I think to your point, South Lake Carroll run ruled Ridge Point back in 2019.
That's what it was.
Oops. But all DFW match for the 6A. Keller versus Rockwall Heath, I think that's what was expected, and it definitely delivered. Rockwall ISD had Rockwall and Heath in the regional final in Region 2. And Heath comes out on top, state champs. Big congrats to them and for Rockwall ISD in general. And really, that put a bow on the UIL season, as we touched on earlier. So the 6A, really all these state championship games, frankly, a big contrast compared to football.
Yeah. The football was not close at all for really, well, except for like the 3A. I think it was 3A and 2A, actually really close games there. But by and large, not very close. A couple of interesting points with this Barbers Hills game is that one, the Barbers Hill versus Hallsville win both baseball and softball in the same year. As you can see, it first time it happened was Shiner in 2002. We had Waymer in 2003, and then a lot recently. So in the last 8 years, it's happened. Was that 5 times? So Aledo in 14, West in 16, Slocum in 18, and then Dehanus in 2019. With Barbers Hill doing it this year. So congrats to both Barbers Hill boys and girls. I know they did a nice little TikTok that the boys did of copying one of the girls' TikToks to kind of match it. So very, very great way to end the year for UIL sports.
The city of Mont Bellevue right now is the city of champions. Baseball and softball, electric. And they're going to be having the parade on Thursday, I believe. I think Josh Cook will be out there covering that parade because, hey, you got to celebrate both teams now for winning, which is pretty awesome to your point. Looking at that list, though, Josh, there's a lot of 1A schools. I mean, all due respect, but do we count those? I mean, I guess we do, but I mean, at the 5A, 6A level, that's the first time that's happened. So that's pretty cool.
Well, let's take a look at that again. Let's go ahead and let's see.
Alito in 2014.
Oh, it's only two. Oh, yes, it's 3 of the 4. So Shiner. I mean, Shiner's not a 1A anymore. But you had Shiner, you have Slocum and DeHanis. I mean, I'd say yes. I mean, because
you still count it, but it's not the same competition, though, right?
I mean, you can say that, but then I mean, heck. Look at 4A.
It's still a state championship.
But look at 4A. What you got? You have Alito. You have Carthage winning football every year. Do we say, oh, that's not? You can't really count their 4A consecutive winnings because in football because they're winning every year. No, you play with who you can play, well, and if you really think about it, doing it. I would argue doing it at 1A could be considered harder because you don't know what kind of students you're going to get year in, year out with, especially at 1A where you may have a class of 8 or 9, right? So, you don't know what you're going to get. So I consider it to be harder because you're having to, do it consistently. And so to do it on the boys and girls side at that level, I'd say that's a pretty good feat, personally.
Don't get Matt Malatesta's opinion on that because he would vehemently disagree with you.
Well, hey, he's wrong about a lot of things, and this would be one of them. So, no, that's just my take. I think it's a lot harder to do it at such a smaller level because, you have to replace very limitedly, if that makes sense. So,
yeah, to your point, I mean, you're not building that. You build programs, but if you look at like your KDISD schools, Spring Branch, Cy-Fair, like you name it, it's almost the next man up because you have so many kids to pull from. There's so many. Like Allen has 4,000 kids plus graduating, then their senior class alone, if I'm not mistaken. Like that's so many kids where it's like, all right, like, and all of them are playing 7-on-7. All of them are playing travel ball, whether it be baseball, football, softball, volleyball, whatever it is. So that is interesting that the pool of talent might not be there every single year. So it's almost, big credit to the coaches then to like take the talent that you got and work with it.
Yeah, so I'll never dog 1A because it is not easy to replace talent when they leave. So as compared to, like you said, with the higher up where they can just do next man up. So, but I think go ahead. Yeah, I think that puts a nice little bow on the season. Of course, we'll do a few more recaps. Like I said, we'll probably bring you some final rankings here in the next couple of weeks, and then
everybody go to Vype.com. Shannon Wilford is our DFW writer up there. She has some killer photo galleries up there, and from especially Keller and Rockwall Heath, since that's the area that she covers. She was out there. Matt Malatesta was on the ground too. So for all your state championship recaps, go to Vype.com and check those out.
And of course, most of those photos, besides the Keller Rockwall Heath, are from me. So,
suck you.
There you go, self-promotion. So I'm not a photographer by trade, so my photographs aren't going to be as good as Bradley, our main photographer here at Vype. So I just want to point that out. But I think they turned out pretty good, all things considered.
They are awesome. Don't dog on yourself. Give credit to yourself.
Well, it is that time, Scotty. We put a nice little bow on the UIL. We're going to look back and look ahead as the summer continues. But it's time for our favorite segment. Who's that mascot? Scotty, did really good last week, didn't you? 2 for 3. Your best outing yet. You were almost there for the 3 for 3. I thought you could have gotten it with the San Saba, but you just couldn't get that mascot, and that's okay. I think we got some difficult ones this week, so we'll see. I think that we'll see if you can do it or not. We'll get the first one. You ready for it, Scotty?
Yes.
All right, your first one, Bay City.
Oh no. Warriors.
Bay City Warriors is your answer, and that is incorrect. Bay City BLACKCATS. Bay City BLACKCATS. I put this one on there just in case they did play one of our Vype Live clients this year, so I was like maybe he can get it if he had seen that they had played it, but unfortunately no. You ready for your next one?
I would not have gotten BLACKCATS. No chance.
All right. Starting off 0 for 1. Your next one. Vernon. Mount Vernon.
I'm going to say Falcons.
Mount Vernon Falcons is incorrect. The Mount Vernon Tigers. Mount Vernon Tigers. And then
I should have known that.
One's everyone's heard of Mount Vernon, so it's like probably on the tip of your tongue. You just couldn't get it.
Yep.
The final one. I'll give you this one. I'll give you a hint. Want me to give you a hint on this one, Scotty?
No. Let's see what I got.
All right.
No hint. Come on.
Your last one. Weatherford.
Warriors again. Weatherford Warriors.
Weatherford Warriors. All right.
We're on the Warriors today.
Your hint would have been a very original name because it's not the Warriors. It is the Kangaroos. The Weatherford Kangaroos. That means yes, that is right. That means, Scotty, for the first time in the history of Who's That Mascot, you got 3 incorrect, 0 for 3, the big goose egg.
Bro, you're killing me.
So
you're killing me over
your first, like, quote unquote, I guess you could say your first bad week of Who's That Mascot because you did not get one right. That's okay. Again, over 1,400 mascots in the state of Texas, or schools in the state of Texas. You're gonna get some wrong.
Yeah. So actually, my wife is on the other side of the camera right now, and she hasn't really watched it before, so she's giving me a lot of weird looks on what we're doing. So, hey, I'm so bad in 1 for 3 though. As an average, I'm still 1 for 3.
You are.
And my wife said I just impressed her. So I mean that's gonna.
Hey, it's all about the stats, right? When you break it down. Well. We'll move on from that one this week. And we move on to the heartwarming segment of the show, and that's the One Good Thing segment. This is where we tell you one good thing that we saw that happened this past week. Scotty, would you like me to go first, or you want to go first this week?
Go for it, man.
All right, so my one good thing is going to be, now they didn't end up winning the College World Series, but I got to give a shout out to JMU pitcher Odichie Alexander. She was phenomenal in the College World Series leading up to it. I mean, they upset now they didn't beat them, but winning a game against number 1 Oklahoma. That was huge for them. She threw 1,057 pitches during the tournament run, which is crazy. They relied on her like nothing else. She was pitching, every single day almost. Like I said, over 1,000 pitches in the tournament to get to where they were. They fell just short against Oklahoma. Of course, the eventual College World Series champions. So just her story. And here's now, again, it's not fact checking. This is something I found. Supposedly, she taught herself how to pitch through YouTube videos. I should probably fact check that, but that's what I saw. So maybe while you tell us your one good thing, I'll fact check that. But just an overall, just great run by her and JMU. Scotty, what's your one good thing?
Yes. So I kind of got 2 one good things. My one good thing that I literally saw this week was driving through the state of Texas, getting to Colorado. It's always fun to me, kind of driving around the state, seeing all these small towns that you're going through. Because we're up in Colorado right now, right? So we got to go a little through West Texas, through the Panhandle. We had to go through Dumas. We had to go through Lubbock, Amarillo, Dalhart, right? That's just a part of Texas that I don't see that often. And really just seeing those small towns thrive, especially through this last year, has been tough for everybody. So seeing them thrive and whatnot, I think it's really cool. Very Friday Night Lights feel. I mean, when you're going through these small towns, you see the huge football stadiums right off the side of the highway. Like, that's awesome. That is what Texas high school football is all about. And so also to that point, UIL baseball state championships, Barbers Hill baseball. I mean, is that not a one good thing or what? Just it's the city of Barbers Hill, Mont Belvieu, Texas, winning softball and baseball championships at the same time. That's really cool. Those are one of my good things. And the other one good thing that I saw or it's kind of a good thing, but soccer is a big deal right now. Christian Eriksen, I'm glad he's okay. That's another good thing that I saw, that he is okay, because that was a really intense situation.
I think you could say the one good thing is just having those medics on site that were able to save his life. For those that don't know, haven't heard, is during a match, Christian Eriksen basically he did pass away. He was gone, and the medics on site were able to revive him, and now he's in stable condition. So just a scary situation that thankfully he was able to pull through, and the medics were able to revive him. So shout out to those medics for their quick response, they were there like in an instant to start the resuscitation process. So thoughts and prayers to him and his recovery. Thankfully, like I said, he pulled through. On Odici, she did teach herself how to pitch, I found out. So that's an amazing story for her and just her run. So
cool.
How can you not love all sports like that? You know me, I watch any sport, and man, she was crushing it in the tournament. So that is all we have. Scotty, you have any last words before we head out for today?
Parting thoughts. Volleyball and football is just right around the corner, so be on the lookout for some Vype volleyball and football content coming out in the next month or so. But before that, Vype Awards is on Sunday, June 27th at 6 p.m. on our Vype YouTube page, Twitter page, Facebook page. It will be broadcasting live. So be sure to tune in to our YouTube page and all of our social media platforms to check out the Vype Awards, see who is your Vype Players of the Year and who gets inducted into the Hall of Fame. So tune into that.
We have a preview for that dropping today, don't we?
Yes, we sure do. Should we run it real quick?
I do not see it on the YouTube page. Would it be on the Vype website?
Hold on.
All right. While you do that, I'll give the UIL some more love. Just Great. Because we're talking about one good thing and you did two, so I feel like I'm obligated to do two now. So I'll give another shout out to UIL. I mean, and by proxy, TAPS and SPC, they all did an amazing job of just coming through in the clutch and navigating this crazy season. We didn't even know if, for instance, there would be fall sports just because of how things were. But they took the guidelines that were given to them and just absolutely crushed handling the situation. And shout out, of course, again, by proxy, to all the athletic directors, all the coaches for following those guidelines, keeping those guidelines in check, ensuring that we were able to go through and have this full season. So that's about all I can continue talking. I'm not a big talker, although...
All right. YouTube, the video is up on the YouTube page. It's unlisted.
Let's see if I can find it
if
here.
You want to check it out real quick. So while I was looking that up, also, if you're a golfer, check into the U.S. Open. That is this weekend at Torrey Pines in San Diego. Beautiful San Diego. Last time it was there, that's when Tiger Woods won on one leg. When he literally had like a broken leg, torn ACL, broken kneecap, you name it. He still won the U.S. Open on one leg. First time going back there since 2008. Notable who will be playing is Jon Rahm. If you remember a couple weeks ago, Jon Rahm had to withdraw because he tested positive for COVID that week when he had a 6-shot lead going into Sunday, the final round. So he is cleared to play. And it should be a really fun U.S. Open week. I'm already seeing a bunch of videos of people dropping golf balls into the rough because that's what it's known for, really tall rough. So I'm really excited for the U.S. Open this week personally.
Well, with that, let us go ahead and jump to the Vype Awards preview. A little sneak peek here for you here on the Vype Walker Talk Monday show.
What's going on, everybody? Matt Malatesta here, Chief Content Officer of Vype Media. You guys have got to check out the 2021 Vype Awards presented by Houston Methodist Orthopedics and Sports Medicine with Randy McAvoy of Channel 2 News, Sports Director, Todd Freed of H-Town High School Sports, the super host. Guys, what a great year.
Yeah, we're going to honor some great athletes, cheerleaders, bands, everybody that made a difference this past school year.
Incredible athletes, and don't forget the coveted Vype Hall of Fame.
Yes, so
inductees.
So watch June 27th as we unveil all of these awards. Stay tuned. It's going to be great.
That is right. June 27th, 6 p.m. This will be live, so definitely tune in. Maybe between now and then we'll give a little sneak peek about some of the finalists in our shows coming up, Scotty. Sounds like a good idea to me.
Vype.com, we are dropping those daily, about 2 or 3 daily. Finalists, Team of the Year finalists, Coach of the Year finalists, and Vype Hall of Fame starting this afternoon.
Well, hey, I can't wait. But until then, you know who we are. I'm Wac. That's Scotty T. Been another great show on Vype Locker Talk Live, our Monday edition, June 14th. Till next week, y'all stay safe out there, everyone.